This is the last devlog about Attractive Planet game, a game in which you control a rocket by only enabling or disabling the thrusters while trying to reach the goal or get as far as possible in the endless mode. In the previous devlog I added the endless mode, for which I didn't have time for in the original Jam version, which left mainly visuals and sound for this final devlog. To start off, I created a plan covering all the features I want to add. Since I actually wanted this to look quite alright, I started by drawing some concept art sketches in Paint.net. I already knew which elements I needed to add to each menu, which allowed me to sketch out some rigid UI design which contains all the necessary items. Doing that in some picture editing software is faster than in Unity and saves me quite some time rearranging all the buttons. I wasn't entirely sure about the art style for the UI yet, so I put the sketches aside and started working on the 3D models instead. Now, if you watched the previous devlogs, you might be surprised, but I decided to transform this game in a 3D or rather 2.5D game. All the collisions, the movement and everything is still 2D, but the visuals are 3-dimensional. And obviously my preferred art style is voxel based. I tried to pick a small voxel amount for each object, but it was sort of limited by the size of the rocket. I couldn't make it that smaller without the rocket not looking like a rocket anymore. The problem I have with higher voxel quantities is that I'm sort of too lazy to make larger objects by hand. For example, I don't mind making a small rocket by hand, even if it takes hours to get the details right. But if I have to build a larger irregular sphere, which is kinda boring to make, I try to simplify the process by using, for example, a sphere and just adding and removing some voxels, which might end up looking a bit worse. After all, I think it turned out quite alright though. After that I went back to UI. I actually forgot to record the progress of drawing everything. Regardless, I ended up making a relatively simple pixel art UI. Since I didn't really like the buttons just floating in space with nothing attached to, I added backgrounds, pipes, light bulbs, screws and so on to sort of make it look like it was part of the spaceship you're controlling. At this point I didn't add any colors yet, but I already preferred it a lot compared to the old UI. After that I also changed the main menu. I didn't really have anything like that in the previous versions, but now you have settings for volume, you can configure which key you want to use, you can even change how quickly you have to release the key for place dash to activate. And you can display some debug stats such as FPS, gravity vector, velocity vector and so on. I also implemented the voxel planets and I think it looks quite alright. Oh, and I also made a custom font and this time it worked. Maybe that's because this font is only a single color, but I don't really know, fonts are weird in Unity. Then I started coloring everything and I think it turned out okay. I still don't really know anything about colors, I just tried to stick to as few colors as possible, and when I needed different brightness colors, I usually just changed its value. I tried not to change hue or saturation. I think I just used 5 different hues with up to 3 different values and I don't know if that's good. Anyway, I think it looks decent. I think the containers feel like containers. I feel like I managed to add some depth. Maybe I could have chosen better colors, but I guess it's alright like this. Then I also added all the sounds. Most of them are just from freesound.org. I edited them a little bit in Audacity to suit my needs, but that's about it. Anyway, I think that's it for this devlog. You can download this updated version on badpaddy.itch.io/attractive-planet-game or directly play it there in the browser. While I don't plan on making another devlog about this, you can give me feedback in the comments and maybe I'll add more power-ups, planets, achievements. And I could also balance the planet generation for the endless mode a little bit more, but I'm sort of too lazy for that. Anyway, bye! See you in the next devlog.